Okay, so far we've learned how to subtract and add numbers with like denominators, add and subtract numbers with unlike denominators, and now we're going to learn to subtract mixed numbers using renaming. In other words, borrowing from the whole to make parts. Here's our TEK 6.2. We're learning to model addition and subtraction. This lesson is specifically about subtraction of mixed numbers. Okay, let's look at this example here. We're renaming whole numbers in order to subtract. They want us to find 5 minus 2 and 2/3. Well, when I think about this, I realize that 5 is a whole number, and 2 and 2/3 is about 3. So I'm looking for a number somewhere around 2, okay, an answer somewhere near 2. Okay, well, my first question is, how do I take 2 and 2/3 from no fractional part? Well, in order to do that, we need to rename this 5 as 4 and 3/3. And we know that 3/3 is equal to 1. You can look at the pictorial model here. We've done our original 5, and we can take it into 4 wholes and 3 out of 3, which is equal to 4 and 3/3, and we know that's equivalent to 5. Okay? Okay, I'm going to pull our screen down a little bit so we have some more room to write at the top. So, the fraction we're looking at subtracting now is really 4 and 3/3 minus 2 and 2/3. Okay, now I have a little more room to think about this and work this out. Well, and I know that 3 minus 2/3 is going to equal 1/3. So my fractional part is 1/3, and now I need to subtract 2 from 4, which is 2. So my answer is 2 and 1/3. Which is very close to 2, which was my estimate in the beginning. Okay, here's one for you to check your progress. Do this one in your journal and have it ready for tomorrow to check it. Okay, this one's looking like it's a little more work. If I look at this, it's asking me to take 4 and 3/8 and subtract 2 and 5/8 from that. Well, the good thing is we already have our common denominators, and we all know that that's one of the important things we have to have is common denominators. All right, so we're first looking at, when we write this the correct way, we're looking at 4 and 3/8 minus 2 and 5/8. Well, the first issue is I can't take 5 from 3, so I need to borrow. When you borrow, it's the same exact concept. We have 4 wholes. When we break another one of those into 8s, we borrow those 8s. So now we had the original 3/8, and we're going to add the 8/8 that we converted from this bar. Okay, so now we have a total of 11/8. Now let's rewrite that so that we can do some subtraction. So I've got 3 and 11/8 minus 2 and 5/8. Well, let's go ahead and look at that, how we subtract that. We've got 11 minus 5/8. That's going to leave me with 6/8. And I'm going to subtract my 3 from my 2, so I've got 1. So my answer is 1 and 6/8. Oops. Let me erase that and rewrite that a little bit better. One and 6/8. Oh, I look at that and I realize that the numerator and the denominator are both even, so they must not be in simplest form. So I'm going to take 1 and 6/8 and I'm going to simplify. I'm going to divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, and that gives me 3/4. Ah, that's a consecutive fraction. We count in the order 3/4, so I know I'm in simplest terms. So my answer is 1 3/4. Okay, here's a chance for you to check how well you understand. Make sure that you remember to borrow in order to take 11 from 7. Okay, let's look at this example. Find 23 1/6 minus 11 1/3. Let's estimate. 23 minus 11 is about 12, so we're looking for a number around 12. Well, the first thing I notice is that we have 23 1/6 and 11 1/3. Well, our denominators are different, so we need to find the least common denominator. It just so happens that the least common denominator is 6. So we're going to make both of our fractions equivalent to 6. Well, let's look at that. 6 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 goes into 6 two times. 2 times 1 is 2. So our new fractions are 1/6 and 2/6. Well, the great thing is our denominators are the same, but the not so good news is we can't really take 2 from 1 of anything. So we are going to need to borrow. So let's talk about borrowing. We know that in sixth, 1 whole is equal to 6 out of 6. So when we borrow from the 23, we're going to borrow 6/6 and add to our 1/6 and change the 23 to a 22. So now we have 22 7/6, which we've written right here. And now we know that we can take 7 and subtract 2 from that. So let's see, that will be 7 minus 2, and we're talking about 6. So it's going to be 5/6. Then we subtract our whole numbers. We'll subtract 11 from 22, which leaves us 11. So our answer is 11 5/6. Okay, here's your chance to see how well you understand that. Remember, you have to find a common denominator for 5 and 4. I'll get you started by factoring out the 4 for you, which we know is 2 times 2. So you're going to stack, which means 5. Stack our 4. We don't have any 5s, but we have a 2 times a 2. Everybody comes to the party, which means 5 times 2 times 2, which is 20. So your new denominator is going to be 20. That's our new LCD. From there, you should be able to convert your fractions so they're all 20ths and then subtract. Okay, here's a real-world example of how you would use fractions in life. It's about land. A farmer gave 34 7/8 acres of land to the local historical society for a park. Previously, the farmer owned 177 half acres of land. How much farmland does she have left? Okay, let's look at this. First of all, we notice that our denominators are not the same. We have a 2 and an 8. Our common denominator, our least common denominator, is going to be 8. We've converted 7/8 into 8, so there was no conversion there, but we also converted 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 times 1 is 4/8. So we know that 1/2 is equivalent to 4/8. Now we need to subtract 7 from 4. We know we can't do that. So what we've done is we've borrowed. We've borrowed from the 77 and made it into 76, and we know that 1 is equal to 8/8, so we added 8/8 to our original 4/8, and we got 12/8. So now we can subtract 12 minus 7/8, which will give us 5/8. And then we can subtract our whole numbers. We'll subtract 34 from 176, and it gives us 142. So our answer is 142 5/8. All right, here's your chance to practice. Go ahead and make sure you have a common denominator, and then do what you need to do, and be sure to borrow and solve it. Have that in your journal for tomorrow.